I'm going live and you are looking live at Sold Out Giant Stadium, where today the 16-0 New York Giants will be taking on the 0-16 Seattle Seahawks. Why the Seattle Seahawks 0-16? Because they suck. Even though they won today, they still suck. And welcome to the Gridiron. Anybody out there going to spend a little bit of time with me here and see them? From the bottom of my heart, I thank you so much. Or anybody watches any of the replay of this, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. You guys absolutely rock. I'm going to try about 30 minutes tonight, shoot my mouth off in disgust for about 30 minutes tonight. It's going to be hard to hold some of my anger down, but we'll try to do our best for 30 minutes. Anybody got anything to say, just throw it in the chat box. I check on the chat box every so often. So if anybody got anything negative to say, go ahead and fire away. I check up on it, from time to time. So anybody puts anything in the chat box, usually I pretty much respond to any comment that's in there. Before we get started, anybody wants to help me support my channel, I would greatly appreciate it so much. There's a link in the description box. It's the top link. I got 3 different membership levels. The first one's called the Saquon. The second one's called the Lawrence Taylor. The third one's called the Gridiron. Each one has their own little perks to it and all. But I have, there's like loyalty badges that you get. And there's also some emojis. I got 4 emojis, different emojis. There's be a 5th one coming out soon. So anybody wants to help support my channel, I would greatly appreciate it. It would mean so much to me. Thank you so much. Or if you're not subscribed to my channel, please click the subscribe button below and click the bell icon. That way, next time I go live or put out a video, you'll be the first one to be notified. And also, I have in the description box below too. I have a group and a page. Okay, the first one probably in the description box will probably be the group. It's called the Gridiron. Okay, strangely enough. There's over 1,800 members in the group right now. If you want to become a member, right, please feel free. Join. Click the link. Join. I put new stuff up there every day. I'm usually putting at least 2, 3, 4, 5 things up there every day. There's other members add stuff to it too as well. Then also in the description box below too, there's a link for a page. It's called the Gridiron. And let me see what we got here. There was like 257. Last time I checked. Okay, it's 257 people like it and 302 people are following it. So if you want, please click the link, like the page, and follow it as well too. Okay, it's the same thing every day. Okay, I'm putting up 3, 4, 5 different things in there. At least sometimes it's 5 to 10 every day. So every day there's new material going out in the page and the group as well. Okay, so with all of that stuff out of the way, let's yeah. Let's talk a little Giants football here. Well, there's, you got to look at it. There's 6-2. Okay. I said, I guess my video last night when I did it, anybody, somebody put it in, I forgot who it was, put something in the chat box, and all. But, in the beginning of the season, we were 6-2 with the squad that we have. Salary cap situation that we have, right? The group of receivers that we that we don't have. Okay. How thin we are, all the injuries we got, it's tough to win, in the NFL. So you said to any Giant fan, hey, at the midway point, pretty much, when we go into our bye week after week 8, we're going to be 6-2. Would you sign up for that? Every Giant fan would sign up for that. And it doesn't matter, it just burns and stings and hurts and sucks, a little bit now going into the bye week because, we're going into the bye week with a absolutely pathetic loss. I mean, really sad. I mean, the defense did its best to keep us in the game. The defense basically gave us our only touchdown of the game. I mean, it's, so, but I mean, we're 6-2 and, hopefully maybe if we're not too banged up after this game, okay, and we can, come out of the bye week, maybe a little bit of health. Maybe we get a couple more guys back. We actually had Ellison Smith was on the field. I think he had 2 tackles. I'm going to go over that, right? So it was nice to see him on the field, but I mean, if we can actually start getting some guys back, maybe get a little healthier, right? The next two games we got against the Texans and the Lions. And I'm certainly not saying we're going to win both games or either game, but they're winnable games. All right. The Texans are not a phenomenal team. Okay. All right. The Lions can score some points, but they don't have a great defense. However, the Giants don't have a great offense. So that kind of checks and balances each one out there. But, I mean, there's a chance the Giants could be 8-2, right? So that would give us, 7 games left if we're 8-2. 7 games. And if we could win, we got, right? If we can win 2 more games, we'll have 10 wins. We'll have a shot at the playoffs. Yeah, right. So we go 2-5 if we win the next 2. I'm just saying if. And somehow we went 2-5 out of the last, 7 games, and we wound up winning, right. But let's not forget, we got, got a couple tough games, at the end of the schedule, the end of the season. I'm sorry. Let's see here. Did I have the Giants here? All right. Well, let's check it out here. I know we got to play. We got to play the Eagles twice, right? We got to play the Commanders twice, though. But the Commanders won. Okay, they pulled out a victory today, and they have our arch nemesis Taylor. He's Heineke, but I call him Heineken. Taylor Heineken, or Heineken Light. He's like our arch nemesis. We seem to have a hard time stopping that guy. He was the one that last year, when we lost in week 2, when we lost Nick Gates, we lost on the last play of the game, pretty much right over the field goal. He was just marching him up and down the field. Giants had a hard time stopping him. So, I mean, but he seems like he's the commander in chief there, maybe. But so we got to play the Commanders twice. Okay. And, after the next 2 games, right? We got to play the Lions and the Texans. Okay. But we got to play then after that, we got to play the Cowboys, who are pretty much on a roll. Okay. They got Dak back. They're looking good. They're putting up all kinds of points, and they got a solid defense. Okay. Although the defense did give up a bunch of points today to a team that basically just runs the football. But, I'm certainly not looking forward to this. It's going to be a tough game on Thanksgiving. That could be a Thanksgiving embarrassment. Really, really could. I mean, the Giants can literally get blown out of the building there. If our offensive performance looks like this, we're going to get destroyed on Thanksgiving. It won't be a happy Thanksgiving for any Giant fan. But then we got to play the Commanders after that. Then we got to play the Eagles. Then we got to play the Commanders again. But then we still got to play. Then we got 3 more games. Then we got to play the Vikings. Okay, in Minnesota, who only have 1 loss, and their only loss was on the road to the Eagles. Okay, so the Vikings are playing very, very well. As I said, it's on the road. All right. Then we got to play the Colts. Okay, at home. Okay, it's a winnable game. I mean, the Colts have a backup quarterback in there. Okay, and then the final game of the season. I hope we don't need this. It'd be tough because we got to go on the road in Philadelphia. So hopefully we won't need that game to win that game to get into the playoffs. But so I mean, so we got to play after the next 2 games. Okay, the final 7. Right, we got to play the Vikings, who only have 1 loss. We got to play the Cowboys, who just seem to have our number. Right, they only have 2 losses, and they're a very good team. And we got to play the Eagles 2 times, who don't have a loss. Basically, the Eagles don't have a loss because they don't have anybody hurt. Right, if they had no wide receivers like the Giants had, they wouldn't have any. They would have some losses. But I mean, they're lucky. They're a good team, but they're lucky. They have no injuries, and so they're winning, right? So I mean, so we got the last 7 games. We got some tough games in there, but we got the Commanders twice, and we got the Colts. Okay, so, but hopefully, as I said, hopefully we can get some guys back, right, in the bye week. Hopefully, we rest some guys up and everything, and we can get some guys back. It would certainly be nice. Be very, very nice. All right, now, what do we got here? I saw this article here. They kind of from NJ.com. It came out right after the game was over. It says Giants must get Daniel Jones a wide receiver before the NFL trade deadline. His offense stalls and lost to the Seahawks. Now, I mean, this is what it's going to wind up being. I mean, it's just we're going to see what Shane is thinking. Okay, as far as what he wants to do with like the future of the Giants. Is you want to try to, maybe trade away some draft picks to try to help the team this year, right? And maybe lose a couple draft picks next year. It'd be interesting to see what he winds up doing. Okay. This is Jay.com. It said the article says this day was coming. The Giants had survived so many close calls throughout the first half of the season, winning on a missed field goal, which against Tennessee, yeah, you're right. But, it goes both ways in that one. Daniel Jones, we were in the red zone. I believe we're in the red zone. Daniel Jones tries to throw it back shoulder fade to Saquon Barkley. I don't even know if he throws an interception, in the end zone. If he just throws the ball, into the stands, we kick a field goal, we get 3 extra points. So therefore, the missed field goal against the Titans wouldn't have mattered. Okay. Winning on missed field goal and on a goal line stand, meaning I guess last week against Jacksonville. But then again, once again, I bring up the fact that if Saquon Barkley didn't run out of bounds in the final 2-3 minutes of the game, 2 times in a row, we run the clock out and the Jacksonville never gets the ball to march down the field to get a goal, the forces to get a goal line stand. So the Giants would want anyway. You know what I mean? So, yeah. But also, having to strip sack Lamar Jackson, right, to get the ball, so we recovered the ball, so the game was over. So the Giants, it's a lot of close game, and the Giants haven't beaten anybody 30-3, right? Every game the Giants won. Every game, right? But let's just, let's relive all these wins here. We beat the Titans by 1 point. We beat the Panthers by 3 points. Lost to the Cowboys by touchdown. Beat the Bears by 8 points. Beat the Packers by 5, beat the Ravens by 4, beat the Jaguars by 6. So it's just, a lot of close games. It's tough to win. If it's going to be a close game every week, it's tough to win every one. It says here, so yes, what happened on Sunday afternoon at Lumen Stadium was inevitable. The Giants entered the fourth quarter tied with the Seahawks. Shocking, especially with no offense. Facing an opportunity to steal a victory. Which is true. You go into the fourth quarter on the road against a decent opponent. You have no offense, and you still have a chance of winning the game. Okay, all right. They walked off the field with their second loss of the season 15 minutes later, right? Not a soul who follows this team, including the men who were coaching and playing on Sunday, wouldn't have signed in blood for a 6-2 start. The loss was deflating, but the Giants will enter November with the chance to play meaningful football for the first time in forever. One loss in perhaps the NFL's toughest road venue doesn't change that. Still, it was hard to watch this game and not be concerned. Oh, it was tough to watch this game. Let me tell you what. I did it on one of my, I think it was in the Gridiron, the group. I put a video out about the first time the Giants ever played the Seahawks. Was in 1976. It was in Giant Stadium. It was the first year the Seahawks were in existence. The Buccaneers and the Seahawks came into existence in 1976. Well, that's when the first time the Seahawks and the Giants ever played was in 1976 in Giant Stadium. Giants won that game. But, that year, the Giants, 1976, the Giants averaged 12.1 points per game for the whole season. That's some tough football to watch. That's some pathetic offense. And I wasn't quite sure watching the offense because basically back then we had no offensive line and we had no wide receivers. And basically, I can't say we have no offensive line, but Daniel Jones got sacked 5 times, right? Couldn't run the ball. We really don't have any receivers. Our starting tight ends out. So that's kind of what reminded me of 1976. That 1976 was tough. 12.1 points a game for the whole season. That's tough. Let's see. And as I said, and that's what they pointed out in this article, the Seahawks, okay? The Giants ran into a good defensive. They're not really that great of a defense. They give up even more rushing yards per game than the Giants do, okay? So their defense gives up points, and they give up yards. They give up even more, I think, more passing yards per game than the Giants, and I think they give up more rushing yards per game than the Giants. So they're not a phenomenal defense. But they stack the box, all right, to slow down Saquon and force Daniel Jones to win in the air. And it's tough to win in the air when you don't have any wide receivers or tight ends. You go to any team in the NFL, give him the wide receivers and the tight ends that we have on the field, all right, and tell him to go win a Super Bowl. It's not happening. Not happening. I don't care who the quarterback is. Okay, not happening. Jones had some time to throw, but he still got sacked 5 times, right? But looked down the field and saw well. For the most part, not much. I mean, a lot of short passes, right? Giants ended the season without a single weapon that scares anyone in the NFL. We have nobody. We have absolutely nobody as far as wide receivers and tight ends. Absolutely no one. Okay. And then, of course, they start talking about, Kadarius Toney, right? But Shane now owes it to this team to get something that helps it in the short run, too. The trade deadline is Tuesday, and for the Giants to have a real shot at making the playoffs and competing with the NFC's elite teams, when they get there, they need help at receiver. Then they talk about Chase Claypool, who's reportedly on the outs in Pittsburgh. Is Jerry Jeudy the name that keeps popping up? Trade rumors from Denver. Is there a less heralded player that will give Jones a weapon who can stretch opposing defense? I mean, the Giants don't have that. It's tough to win, in the NFL, when you don't have somebody that can stretch, the field. It's tough, really tough. This game was a reminder of just how badly Jones needs help. In the first half, this is just ungodly. It was just, I was nodding off. I mean, it's a hard time watching it. I mean, it's pathetic, absolutely sad. Jones completed 5 of 9 passes for 17 yards. That would be acceptable had the offense followed its usual formula and did most of its work on the ground. However, Barkley had just 28 yards on 9 carries as the Seahawks wisely stacked the box to stop him. Jones wasn't much more successful, running 2 times for 9 yards. The Giants had 3 first downs and 5 punts in the first half. 3 first downs in the first half. I mean, it was just ungodly painful to watch. I mean, as I said, against a defense that is not that good. They were only in the game thanks to another stellar performance for the defense and an absolute gift from one of the home team's best players. Yeah, I mean, when Adoree Jackson caused the fumble and we got the ball to 2-yard line, that was the Giants' only touchdown. 2 plays later, we got the ball in the end zone on a 2-yard drive. Other than that, we didn't score a touchdown all game. We scored 2 field goals. Absolutely freaking pathetic. Yeah. So we were tied at 7, right? And also, for another reason, it just shows you how absolutely unbelievably pathetic the Giants' offense is. It just because, lack of talent. I mean, they lost 2 offensive starting linemen last week. Lost our starting tight end last week, right? Our top 3 wide receivers aren't playing, right? I mean, we traded away 1. Sterling Shepard's out for the year, and Kenny Galladay's he's missed the past 3 or 4 games. I mean, no other team in the NFL is going to be winning games with this lineup. Nobody. Yeah, right. But the 2 runs that we got to score a touchdown, those were the only 2 plays that the Giants had in Seattle territory the whole first half against a really not a very good defense. I mean, their secondary is not too bad, but they give up a lot of running yards. Okay. And you figure if they're stacking the box, we should be able to come up with something. Okay, they should be able to maybe get a receiver open or get Saquon out space or something. You know what I mean? But we were just not able to do that. All right. And then, of course, says Lockie gave the Giants another gift in the third quarter, dropping a certain touchdown pass. That would have put the Seahawks up 17-10. So. And it said Darius Slayton should be commended for climbing out of the deep recesses of the new regime's doghouse, catching 5 passes for 66 yards on Sunday. The team's second leading receiver was backup tight end Tanner Hudson, and another somewhat reliable target, Richie James, left the game with a concussion after 2 special teams fumbles. Yeah, so I don't know if he'll be returning any more punts for us the rest of the season. I mean, his 2 fumbles cost us 10 points, right? That's about it. The Giants gained a season-low 240 yards. They've been one of the NFL's biggest surprises in the first half of the season, despite an offense that, and we've been kind here, is ordinary. Now Shane has 48 hours to get them much-needed help. We got 2 days left. So we'll have to wait and see. What Shane winds up doing. Is he prioritizing, our salary cap going forward? Does he prioritize the draft picks that we have going forward? You know what I mean? It's like, let's try to do what the best we can. Let's compete this season. Okay, do the best we can this season with what we got. Okay, going forward, we'll have some money. We're gonna have some draft picks now. We might have up to all that. If we get some compensatory picks, right? Which we might get 2. All right. We might have 11 draft picks again next year. Okay. If we can get some guys back like Darian Beavers, right? Maybe Shane Lemieux might actually stay healthy for a season. Wouldn't that be a freaking miracle, huh? But some of these other guys, we get some of these other guys back. We draft another 11 guys, right? We have some salary cap money. Maybe we can go out there and get a star wide receiver, right? Okay, then we have Daniel Bellinger. Hopefully, maybe we sign Saquon, right? We got Wan'Dale Robinson. We can go out and get a wide receiver. Okay, that would be nice, right? Or maybe we can get 2 wide receivers. Maybe draft one and go out into free agency and get one, right? Give Daniel Jones, if he's going to be the quarterback going forward, give him some weapons, right? Because it's tough to win if you don't have any weapons. Okay, period, right? But if we go, the game was just, it's painful. It was really, really painful to watch. Some of this stuff was just, But if we go here, all right, the Giants, let's see, first time they had the ball, let's see, the Giants got the ball, went 3 plays for 9 yards, and they punted. They had the ball for a minute 24. Next time they got the ball, they went 3 plays for -2 yards. Had the ball for 2.5 minutes, and then they punted. Next time they had the ball, they went 3 plays for 3 yards. Had the ball for 58 freaking seconds. And they punted again. Then the Giants had the ball for 8 plays. They went 24 yards. Had the ball for 5.5 minutes. Okay. And then they punted. Right. Then the Seahawks had the ball for 1 play. That's when they fumbled, right? And then the Giants got the ball back 2 plays, and the Giants scored a touchdown and tied it up at 7. So somehow the Giants had no first downs, no yards, no nothing. But somehow we were lucky enough to be tied 7-7. Then we had forced the Seahawks to punt. Then that's when Richie James fumbled the first one, leading directly to a field goal. Dixon punts 49 yards to the Giants 24. James, all right, caught the ball to 24 for no gain, fumbles, okay, and they recovered the ball, let's say, at the Giant 19. So then the Seahawks Giants defense held. Seahawks went 4 plays for 2 yards, had the ball for 45 seconds, and kicked the field goal. Why did they kick a field goal? Because Richie James fumbled the punt. That's why. So basically, it could have been 7-7 at halftime. Giants got the ball back, 3 plays, no yards, 1:28 off the clock, and of course they had a punt. Then the Seahawks got the ball back, and I guess they took a knee. I guess it was, and the end of the first half was over. So the Giants had nothing, absolutely freaking nothing. But then it came out, all right, and a little sign of hope there. The Giants had 2 nice drives, okay, back to back, and you thought maybe, oh my God, maybe we found something here, right? Giants had the ball in the third quarter, right? 14 plays, 79 yards, right? Almost 9 minutes off the clock, and kicked the field goal, tied it up at 10. Then the Seahawks, and this was then it went back and forth, right? Then the Seahawks kicked the field goal to go up 13-10. Then the Giants got the ball, another nice long drive. They tried 26 plays in the first 2 drives of the third quarter or of the second half. They went 12 plays, 45 yards, took another 6.5 minutes off the clock, kicked another field goal, and tied it back up at 13. Okay. But then we got torched. 5 plays, 75 yards. I think this is the one when Smith hit Lockett for a touchdown. Yep. Deep right to Lockett for a touchdown. Put them up 20-13. Then the Giants got the ball, 3 plays, 6 yards, punted, 20-17, 20-13 still. Then the That's when the defense held them once again, did a good job, still kept us in the game. All right. I mean, if it wasn't for the defense, we'd only have 6 points because we wouldn't have had the touchdown from Adoree Jackson, right? So the defense still keeping us in the game, right? I mean, what the heck is it here? Let me see. Is that it? Yeah. I mean, the Seahawks only had 277 yards of offense. I mean, they had nothing, really. They really had nothing. 277 yards. So then the defense held them 3 plays, 4 yards, and they punted. But of course, Dixon punts 55 yards to the Giants 21. That's when James got the ball, ran out to about the 30-yard line, got 9 yards, but the ball got punched out. All right. And recovered. Seattle recovered at the Giants 32. 2 plays later, they got a touchdown. And why did they get the touchdown? Directly because of Reggie James' fumble punt. Kenneth Walker ran 16 yards for a touchdown and basically put the game out of reach. That's when the Giants got the ball back. They went 9 yards, 9 plays, 46 yards, right? And what do we got here? And just first down, and they got, they had first down and 10 at Seattle 32. Then they got the 2nd and 1 at the 23. So you figure 2nd and 1. All right, we got 2nd down, 3rd down, 4th. We got 3 downs to get a first down. We can get 1 yard. Nope, of course not. Daniel Jones got sacked. Right, he fumbled, but he recovered it. Why did he fumble it? Because he got sacked. Right. But once again, he didn't throw any interceptions. Okay. So that's pretty impressive. No interceptions, right? But then on 3rd down and 7, Daniel Jones incomplete to Darius Slayton, 4th down. And this was the game. Daniel Jones pass incomplete, short middle to Marcus Johnson. All right. Then the Seahawks had 6 plays. They got 1 yard, ran a minute 25 off the clock, and punted back to the Giants. But the game is pretty much over with by then. So, I mean, one of the things, as I said in my videos, that, I say it all the time, it's going to probably be a close game, tough game, blah, 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 all that stuff and everything. The Giants can't beat themselves. I mean, the Seahawks won this game. Don't make any mistake. But I mean, the Giants gave them directly. Well, I mean, you look at it too. I mean, if you want to be fair, okay, the Seahawks gave the Giants 7 points. The only reason why the Giants had a touchdown was because of the Adoree Jackson fumble. But I mean, the Richie James, those 2 punts, he muffed, or not muffed, he fumbled away, right? It led directly to 10 points for the Seahawks. You take those 10 points off, it's 17-13, right? Then toward the end of the game, the Giants driving down and like around the 20-something yard line, maybe they kick a field goal, make it 17-16, right? But I mean, I don't know if we'll see Richie James back there again returning punts at all this year. He went from kind of the out, to outhouse, I guess, to the doghouse, maybe, I guess you want to go in the beginning of the year. He was doing good. He was catching a lot of passes, catching like 4 or 5 passes a game or so. What did he have today? Did he have anything? Nope. Didn't even have a reception. 2 fumbles, lost both fumbles. Right? Yeah. So, but he didn't have a reception. So, I mean, he's yeah. Yeah. But if we look here, all right, let's see. I mean, the Giants had 14 first downs. The Seahawks had 19. 3rd down, the Giants were 6 out of 16. I mean, the Giants when it got to 3rd down, the Giants defense once again kept them in the game. The Seahawks were only 3 out of 13. Of course, unfortunately, they were 2 out of 2 on 4th downs. But, right, I mean, they held the Seahawks to 277 yards of offense. 4.5 yards per play. Okay, they only had 190 yards passing. They averaged 5.1. The Seahawks 5.1 yards per pass, which is very bad. The Giants were even worse. The Giants were 4.1. Okay, the Giants defense actually did very good because the Seahawks are not a bad running team. Okay, so the Seahawks only had 87 yards rushing on 25 carries. Only had 3.5 yards per rush, which is very, very good. Okay, Giants somehow actually had the ball for 33 and a half minutes. Shocking. But I mean, the Giants had 225 yards of offense. I mean, 147 yards passing, 4.1 yards per pass attempt. I mean, my God. I mean, that is sad. He got sacked 5 times. Ran the ball 28 times. We got 78 yards rushing, 2.8 yards per carry. Right? I mean, just, my God, brutal. Absolutely brutal. I mean, that was some really tough football to watch. Really, really tough. And then we got, they said Daniel Jones was 17 out of 31. Right? No touchdowns, no interceptions. Saquon was 20 rushes for 53 yards. Darius Slayton led the team with 5 receptions. Right? Tanner Hudson had 3. Okay. We had Lawrence Cager. He had nothing. He had 1 target, no receptions. And we had Chris Myrick had 1 reception. Okay. But I mean, it's like Wan'Dale Robinson had 2 catches. Matt Breida had 1. Myrick had 1. Barkley had 3. David Sills had 1. I mean, David Sills seems like he's catching 1 catch a game. Marcus Johnson caught 1 for 3 yards. I mean, it's tough. It's tough. It's tough football. Tough football to watch. Tolman Fox had a very, very good game. He was in there, and I seen another article on him after the game was over, talking about him going out there, and he had 2 tackles for loss. He had 8. He was on 8 tackles. Him, Julian Love, and Leonard Williams had a very good game. They all had 8 tackles. Okay, Leonard Williams had a sack and 1 tackle for loss. He also had 5 quarterback hits. So he was in there. It looks like Leo is back. Okay, he had a very, very good game. Jalen Smith rebounded. He had 7 tackles. Okay, Adoree Jackson. Right, he had 6 tackles. Fabian Moreau, he had 5. Dexter Lawrence had 4. Let's see who we got. Sacks. Micah McFadden had a sack. That was his first sack, I believe, of the year. Xavier McKinney had a sack. Okay, so we had 3 sacks. Tate Crowder only had 2 tackles. Ellison Smith, it was nice to see him in there. Okay, he had 2 tackles. Nick McLeod had 2. Nick Williams got 1. I believe he got hurt and he came out. I don't know if he came back in the game. I hope he's okay. Justin Lane with 1 tackle. Darnay Holmes with 1 tackle. Okay. Kayvon Thibodeau didn't have a tackle. He had 1 quarterback hit. He had nothing. Right. I'm interested to see what he grades out at from Pro Football Focus. Jihad Ward had 1 pass defense. Okay, so I'm interested to see what Kayvon did, as far as what Pro Football Focus, But I mean, all in all, I mean, it's 10 points were directly off of turnovers. If we had any offense at all, we would have the ball on the field, marching down the field. The other team would be all off the field, not scoring points, not getting yards. Okay, but I mean, you figure we gave up 277 yards of offense. We only gave up 87 yards rushing the ball, and we've had a hard time stopping the run. Okay, Seattle's a decent team. Okay, not a phenomenal team, but they're a decent team. Okay, but it is what it is. It's tough. It's tough to live by the sword and die by it. You know what I mean? You live and die. I mean, it's tough every week to, try to win these real close games, right? It's tough. It's because it's the NPL. It's not the NFL. It's the NPL, the National Parity League. They want parity, and that's what they got. You know what I mean? Any given Sunday, any team can beat any team. And I mean, try to win these 1-score games week in and week out without really much of an offense, because let's face it, we don't have much of an offense, okay? Especially one that can scare you, okay? It's tough. I mean, you need some receivers out there who can open things up, right? Because if we had some of the receivers like what like some of these other teams do, it'd be tough for them to stack the box. You know what I mean? Okay, tough to put 8 guys in the box when you got 2 All-Pro wide receivers out there running. I mean, like with the Dolphins. And it's expensive. I get it. I know. Although Waddle's not that expensive yet, but Hill, right? They got Hill and Waddle. I mean, they got 2 guys out there that can just blow the doors right off you, right? So the Giants had that. I'm not saying it's easy, but I'm saying if the Giants had something like that, and they even get Gesicki, right, a decent catching wide receiver, tight end, I'm sorry, right? That would certainly help. That would stretch the field, open things up. When you just dunking stuff off, maybe every now and then throwing a little something down deep, but a lot of short passes, The defense just starts moving in. They start moving in. That's less space that there's to complete passes. It's tough. It's tough. I mean, you can scheme stuff up and all, but scheming will work sometimes, but it's not going to work all the time, right? And when you come into it, a tough game like they had today, you're not going to win all the time. But let's just hope, okay? As I said, 6-2, right? That the Giants in the next 2 weeks get some guys back and get some health, okay? And we start off, the second half of the season, we got 9 games. Start off maybe with, getting a couple more guys back, okay? Maybe as Kenny Golladay was talking about, hopefully maybe being back by the time the Texans are around, okay? Maybe they can work him into the offense where he can actually be somewhat effective. Wouldn't it be nice to have Kenny Golladay actually score a touchdown this year? Wouldn't that be phenomenal, right? Maybe, the 3-4 weeks we can get Daniel Bellinger back. Okay. Obviously Tony's gone, Shepard's gone for the season. So it's going to be interesting to see what Shane does in the next 2 days, okay, before the trade deadline. Does he pull the trigger and get the Giants a wide receiver? Okay, because the cool thing would be if he does in the next 2 days. It's not like we have a game next week where we get a guy in here, all right, and it's like, okay, here's the playbook. We'll put you in for 10 plays next week because you're not going to know any plays or not many plays or whatever like it. So we'll try to get you in there. So next week we'll get you in the game, but it's not going to be many plays, okay? So it's kind of be a little bit of a wasted game where, no, if they get somebody in the next 2 days, we got this week and we got the following week to work the guy into a bunch of plays. All right. So hopefully when we come back, we start going against the Texans and against because the Lions do not have a good defense. Okay. So when we start coming back, we play against the Texans and the Lions, we'll start be able to get if we trade for a wide receiver, or we get a wide receiver in there, right? We'll get a guy in there that it can, we'll start maybe hoping be open things up, stretch the field a little bit. Right. So it'll be interesting to see in the next couple of days, what does Shane want to do with the team and with this season, right? Does he want to, get a guy in here who can help us for this season, all right? And, maybe give away a couple draft picks or a draft picker, I'll have to wind up waiting and see. But, we'll have money next year, okay? So if we get somebody in here, okay, that we can afford, all right, or if the money's right or whatever, right, we trade away a draft pick or 2, right? We'll have some money. We'll be able to sign them. Right. So if that's maybe DJ Moore, Jerry Jeudy, somebody, so we'll have to wait and see. But so the next 2 days will be very, very interesting. But it's hard to go into a buy. It losing sucks, period. Okay. But we got 2 weeks. Let's get ourselves some health. All right. Maybe we get some players back. And then we'll come back and play against a not a very good Houston Texans team. But although if we don't put our big boy pants on and decide to play some football, Houston Texans is going to come in here and beat us. No questions asked. Okay. So Giants are going to have to play, have to get all freaking fired up. But Giants still have a chance of maybe possibly going 8-2 after 10 games. And I'll tell you what, 8-2 after 10 games, every Giant fan would sign up for that. Well, it's been 38 minutes. I'm going to shoot my mouth off. Sorry. Unfortunately, it's about nothing but pretty much bad news. But 6-2. And anybody spent any time at all watching me here, I greatly, greatly appreciate it. Everybody spent any time at all watching the replay of this from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much. You guys absolutely rock. And as always, guys out there, you guys stay safe out there and go Giants. Woo! Oh, yeah.